Oh yeah. Welcome to Buckeyes and Friends. Shuffle up and stay a while. Here we go. Ooh. Oh yeah. Welcome to Buckeyes and Friends. Shuffle up and stay a while. Here we go. Ooh. Oh yeah. Welcome to Buckeyes and Friends. Shuffle up and stay a while. Here we go. Ooh. Oh yeah. Welcome to Buckeyes and Friends. Shuffle up and stay a while. Here we go. Ooh. Oh yeah. Welcome to Buckeyes and Friends. Shuffle up and stay a while. Here we go. Ooh. Oh yeah. Welcome to Buckeyes and Friends. Shuffle up and stay a while. Here we go. Ooh. Oh yeah. Welcome to Buckeyes and Friends. Shuffle up and stay a while. Here we go. Ooh. Oh yeah. Welcome to Buckeyes and Friends. Shuffle up and stay a while. Here we go. Ooh. Oh yeah. Welcome to Buckeyes and Friends. Shuffle up and stay a while. Here we go. Ooh. Oh yeah. Welcome to Buckeyes and Friends. Shuffle up and stay a while. Here we go. Ooh. Oh yeah. Welcome to Buckeyes and Friends. Shuffle up and stay a while. Here we go. Ooh. Oh yeah. Welcome to Buckeyes and Friends. Shuffle up and stay a while. Here we go. Ooh. Oh yeah. Welcome to Buckeyes and Friends. Shuffle up and stay a while. Here we go.
Cut off the introduction sound, and here we are. I better share my screen so y'all can see what I'm looking at too. That will also help this process. And then I will start introducing people. Share screen. Wait a second screen. Oh, there goes screen. Okay. Okay. So I mean, if you're here, listen to us. So you probably read the introduction. This is gonna be our recap of the whole midwinter weekend, bridge version. So we won't be going game by game on this. Um, so I guess it definitely gotta go list. We got a few people in here. We may have people jumping in and out, but we're gonna play it by ear and make this happen. So of course I'm D Rob, David Robbins. I played in the side event. I would have judged at midwinter, been judged a few events. Next up, let's go ahead and start with you, Earl. Let's get you at the beginning of it because you won't have much to say during this.
Uh, Merle, aka Zombie Earl, I did not even go to Midwinter because the snow came and blocked my passage.
All right, that's Earl.
AKA Roy.
Okay, I guess we'll go by Scott. You know the Epic Luke guy, Epic Scott. You want to introduce yourself?
Oh, sure. I guess Scotty Kaz, probably the best way to call me. It was definitely confirmed this last weekend that nobody can say my last name right, so just forget that. Just call me Scotty Kaz.
All right, all right, all right. And then one of the newest Buckeye member, not of Ohio, but still, actually he is. I guess he live in Buffalo, Ohio. Uh, the Black Knight himself, part of the plot twisters. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Yeah, it's your boy, the Black Knight one, Tevin Campbell, not the singer. So nice God made me twice. So I got a twin brother who's the other half of the plot twisters, Jamil 212. But had a great time at MidWinter. Can't wait to talk about it.
And finally, last but not least, if I can have everybody stand to their feet, the trumpet is blowing. Doo, 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 doo. Midwinter champion, Sean Powell. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
What's going on, everybody? I am Sean Keebler Powell, Midwinter Champion 2024.
Woot woot.
All right, you got to say at ease so we all can sit back down now.
Eddie's, gentlemen.
All right, all right, all right. So I guess for starter we need I guess the best starting point. Travel. I think all of us who went came in on Thursday, correct?
Yeah, I got there Thursday.
Yeah, so
Correct.
There was no snow. It was decent weather. I mean, it was a good drive, right? I mean, Tevin flew, and then the other three of us drove.
It's correct.
Yeah, and PJ drove as well, I believe.
PJ drove as well. Well, so yeah, so we got situated and everything. I think we all had. I mean, well, the people who played in the main event had all their deck tech together by the time we got there. Correct?
For the
Pretty
main
much.
event,
It's gonna be fun.
I'm not sure about Tevin, but I know that Scott and myself and Earl. I mean, if Earl would have been able to make it, we'd actually been locked in on that deck since before December. It was
Before Christmas.
Yeah, definitely before Christmas when we saw the zombie cards. Like, I don't know exactly when we were able to see the stuff, but we play tested with them probably before we had them in hand.
Yeah, I unfortunately did not get a lot of play testing in. I think D Rob was still asking me who I was going to play a week before it was time to go out, but we consulted, and I was able to throw something together where I wish I did play a little bit more, but I didn't even bring any other cards just to make sure that I was going to play whatever I brought because I didn't want to change my mind or anything like that. So, yeah, that's what we brought.
All right, so I think that's enough of the introduction stuff. So let's get to Friday morning. So the first event was team battle, correct? And two team captain were Mitch and Mr. Benson. What's his name again? Witt.
Oh, Witt. Yep.
Yeah. So when those was the two team captain. And I was on Mitch's team. Scott, what team was you on?
I was on Witt's team.
Sean
I was on Mitch's team.
and Tevin.
I was on Witt's team.
All right, so real quick, I guess each of us like say we'll say what deck we play. Brief recap. Actually, I'm gonna actually bring the No, we don't have the record for that because we do that. So basically, if you're not familiar with the team battle, the way it works, there are two team captains. They pick only based on MCs. They don't know who. Well, they may know, but in most cases, they don't know who owned the MC. They pick their MC, and each round they make the matchup. So like Mitch will pick who one of his teammates gonna play again, and then Whit will put in back and forth. And each round we did that for 5 rounds. So that's the team battle. So I went in with Franklin Richards with the 120 card deck with some side pals. Yeah, I just wanted to try to pop off one time. What I wanted to happen never happened with Angela. My goal was to get a bunch of resource out with my early decks and then have a kind of almost like a singularity type deck with all one of characters that like 6 and higher to get Angelus to pop off and then drop them all out. I didn't get that to happen. But I did get to play each of my deck individually. So but not a good day. Like I said, I lost the first game. I did play Scott round 2. That was just a terrible matchup because he have no level, I have no level. Lost a few more times, 1-2, but my team won. So let's go ahead. Let's talk. I guess we'll talk to the two losing who's gonna lose the team. Scott and Tevin. So go ahead. First Scott.
Yeah, you ain't got to throw that word out like that. Okay, now we just didn't win. We didn't not. We just didn't.
Hey, in terms of that, I was at least providing wins for my team. Just the team didn't win. I went 4-1 in the team battles. But I had a great time. I think that's a really fun format. It's a really fun way to play versus. I think basically it came down to the choosing of the matches. Mitch was just doing a much better job of choosing, and I don't blame Whit for that. I think Mitch was just being much more aggressive about like choosing people that he knew his side would have the advantage. You know what I mean? He's really good at that. He knows the meta really well. Yeah, so I don't know what else to say about that. I had a great time.
MC?
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. I was playing Kang Prime, the new Kang. I love him. He's awesome. I built a deck that, because it's multiverse, right? You can run everything basically, except for Out of Time.
It was Out of
the
Time.
Other two banned things were
Outrider and Senator Kelly.
Right. So, Senator Kelly. That's right. So, or no, it was Kate Pride? I thought was the third.
Kate Pride. Kate Pride, Outrider, and Senator Kelly. Yes.
Yeah. So anyway, you could basically run anything. So you got ramp in there. You got, I'm using Mantis to get some extra ramp. I'm using Jungle Hunter. I started with the Defenders package, so I could run Super Senses and Teleport right out of the gate. So on turn 1, I can use Super Senses to defend Kang. I can use Teleport to ramp. So the idea is if I can just get to turn 3, the problem with Kang is, the first one you put out has 3 health. If you can't get to turn 3, like if you lose the roll off and you take a wound every turn, then bam, you lose on turn 3. But if you could just get to turn 3 and get the second Kang out, from there it just ramps like crazy and just takes off. And I only had that not happen once, and that was because it was honestly because of a misplay on my part. I lost the roll off. Jose goes first. He attacks. I got he hit me on turn 1 because again he won the roll off. Then my turn 1, I played. I forget which. I think it was Angel. No, it couldn't have been Angel. It was Misty Knight. So what happened is I've got Super Senses and I've got Teleport in my hand. He swings. He's playing one of the wrestlers. I think it was Bryan Danielson. He swings in. Yeah, it was Bryan Danielson because he's the one that can fly. He swings into Misty Knight, and like a dumbass, I should have just played the Teleport, right, and got it into my resource row. Then on my turn 2, I have 3 resources. Bam, I get the next Kang out. But instead, I played Super Senses because I figured I could keep her and then use Teleport on the second attack. But the second attack is when he uses Flight and just flies over and hits Kang. So then on his turn 3, he kills me. So that was my mistake. Probably should have won that game if I'd have played it right. But anyway, there you go. I had a blast.
Yeah, I think the big team about getting just a little more competitive than it used to be back in the day. A little more intense MCs.
I agree with that.
Yeah, it used to be just for shits and giggles, and people would bring a lot of fun stuff. And now people are bringing the hardcore competitive stuff.
Yeah, it was definitely some heat in the lineup. When you're looking at the table, I'm like, I don't want to play that. I don't want to play that. I don't want to play that.
Yeah.
Trying to get Wit here, like, hey, Wit, this would be a great matchup for me. If you could kind of make that happen.
Yeah, exactly. And by the way, that's what happened that round too. I did not want to face Bryan Danielson because I knew that's the one thing that could give Kang trouble. So I was like, match me up with, I don't even remember what I asked for, but I said, match me up with that. And then they picked something else instead. And then, of course, Mitch, because I had just said that I didn't want to be with Bryan Danielson, Mitch picks me and Bryan Danielson. So there you go.
All right, Tevin, go ahead and give a quick rundown.
All right, so we had the same record. I went 4-1 as well, and we're winning games for my team. I brought Big Daddy Odin, the photo Odin, to the table, and really was using Hugh Campbell Sr. to prevent him from leveling so we could stay big. I had Mobius back, rescues in the deck now, Yandu to get the negs to keep people lower. I had the Conqueror, which is always a blowout play when you get to play it because you get to put the negs on Odin and stuff like that. But I lost my first game, which was against Mitch, and he was doing the mayor, and I only lost because he got me to 2 wounds. I didn't know about the mayor and the parallel dimension combo where you copy the MC and end up not being able to do anything and put any additional wounds. We did kill his original MC that was a 30-30, so that was a something to be proud of. But we lost that, and then we were able to win the rest of them. One of the MVPs I think of that deck that I wasn't expecting was I put the new Thor in there, and he was just clearing people out of problematic characters out of people's decks, hands, and KO piles, and really clearing the way for us. But like I said, a lot of fun, a lot of really close games. But Odin came out 4-1. But it wasn't good enough to have the team win.
I got a question because I wasn't there. Tevin and Scott, you guys were on the same team. You both went 4-1, and your team didn't win.
That is correct.
Yeah, there were a lot of losses.
And we had unfavorable matchups as well, so it's not like we would just pick the easiest path to victory. Because I think I played the Mayor, then I played Frightful Thor. I played Franklin Richards, which was Dave. I played Jessica Walters, the new She-Hulk, and then I played Bryan Danielson. So it wasn't a cakewalk, but we were able to pull it out.
Yeah, there was a lot of people there for team battles. I want to say we had 20. Was it 22 people by Friday night? No, that's the first event Friday. I think it was 20 people.
Yeah, it was like 20 or 22. It got up to that. Yeah. No, we had 12 on each side. It was 24.
24. Yeah. So 12 on each side. So, 2 wins. You got to get at least 6 wins overall on your team. Just to tie.
Yeah, if I remember right, we won the first 2 rounds, and then the next 2 were both ties.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was high. It was contested, but we were coming out even for rounds 3 and 4. But they pulled that early lead, and then I think the last round they took it away too. So
I didn't help because I went 2 and 3. Or did I go 1 and? No, I went 1 and. I only won 1 game. I went 1 and 4.
I want to say the first round was kind of a blowout. I think Mitch's team won 8 of the games, and our team only won 4. And then the second round was closer. It was 7-5, and then it was 6-6 and 6-6. And then I don't remember what the score of the last round was.
Okay, then finally the champion. You may speak.
I played Double Mantle Spider-Man, and I think I won a game.
Welcome to the 1 game club.
Yeah. I think that was. I did not contribute to our team whatsoever, and makes me really glad that I didn't play that on Sunday or Saturday, because there was a time when I was like, "This is the thing, I like it," but then I didn't play it. So that's good.
Like I said, go ahead.
Let me get this straight because I wasn't there. You guys were both on the same team. You both went 1 and 4, and your team won.
Correct.
Yeah.
I'm gonna need Peter to do a recount. This isn't making any sense. Like I've been saying
Like I said all weekend, me, Sean, and Michael Jordan combined for 6 NBA championships.
Yeah, we were definitely the barnacles of that team.
All right, so moving on to this. Well, we had another event immediate after that, so I'm pulling that up on the screen now. Worlds collide. So I do.
We don't need to talk about this event.
Oh no, this is my favorite event.
Let's first start with. Do you want to speak about this, Scott, or do you just don't recall it and probably better not to talk about it?
Gee, I don't know. No, I'll talk about it. I'm kidding. It's fine. I mean, I think the self-deprecation can continue. It was definitely a lot of jokes about it at the event itself. Might as well keep it going. So what happened is, so this was the Secret Wars event where you could play Illustrated and Photo together, and everything had Swarm. So you could do all kinds of ridiculous shenanigans. It did use the incursion list though. So that was the trick is, you know Senator Kelly's, none of that kind of stuff. But anything that wasn't incurred, you could run both the Illustrated and Photo stuff, and everything had Swarm. So you could run multiples of things. So I had this silly idea of like, well, what characters can you really abuse? What characters have like one drops that pump them, right? Like there's all those Photo one drops that pump certain mains. There's one for Thor, there's one for Captain America, so on and so forth. Anyway, so Spider-Man has Aunt May Parker, and then in Illustrated you've got Madam Web. So I thought, well, okay, you could run a Photo Illustrated Spider-Man deck, and you could use Heimdall to just keep getting more Madam Webs if they kill Madam Web. You can't do that with May Parker because she's only one of a kind, but you can go get the first one anyway. And if you got both of them in play, that's +5/+5 for all your Spider-Mans. And you just run a bunch of different Spider-Mans, and you got the 2-drop Spider-Man who can invent. And, your deck is full of 20 Spider-Mans, so you're going to be doing a lot of inventing. And I thought, well, what main goes really good with that? Oh, well, of course, Pro-Reg Spider-Man, because he'll level on turn 1 if you have 20 Spider-Mans in your deck. And you got the butt-kicking button, so it's hard for people to hide from him later in the game. So we're playing. I win the first round. I win the second round. And then somebody points out Diego was watching as we were wrapping up the second round. And Diego goes, hey, which main are you using? And everybody looked, and it was like Pro-Reg Spider-Man. And he's like, isn't that incurred? So I was playing an illegal deck. Oops. The really funny thing about this is that we playtested this. You guys playtested this with me. Nobody up during playtesting. I didn't remember it either. I also went through my first 2 rounds at the tournament and nobody thought about it either. I mean, it's amazing how the incursion list is just getting so big that it's easy to forget things that are on it. I thought that was kind of the most amazing part. Anyway, so I just dropped out of the tournament after that because that was my main character. So the rule if you played an incurred character was you could replace it and keep going, right? They made a ruling after that if it was a supporting character or whatever, you could replace it with a basic location. But in this case, it was my main, so they were like, you could swap it out for a different main and continue. Your rounds up to that point would have been retroactively changed to losses, but you could continue in the tournament. But that would have been way too much work because I would have had to change all my wild locations. I would have had to change my plot twists.
You don't get to change, though. You just get to change the main.
Oh, okay. Well, the way Peter put it was if I wanted to like basically rebuild my whole deck, I could. But I was like, it's not even worth trying to do that. It would take too much time, and so I just dropped out of the tournament. And then for the next couple rounds, I just played whoever got the bye. So that's my story about that tournament.
So I mean, in your defense, I mean, Peter did try and change like what format would occurs and which one was not a few times leading up.
Yeah.
So that was always a tricky part too. But I'll go ahead and do my recap because I think I was also another one of the losers again. Well, I got the records up on the screen. So I went 2-3. I lost my first 3 games. Let's see. Let's get quick recap so I can shout out some people. So Dawson, he had a new Thor deck. I mean, he got the new 1-drop on turn 1, Jane Foster, and sorry, I'm way ahead of myself. Played MCU Ultron. So that was my goal. So my main game plan with my Ultron deck, I was trying to do the alt win if possible, or just kind of beat you down. So my goal with Ultron would get to turn 7. If I could get to turn 7, then I could get mainframe out from the Guardians of the Galaxy, and he let me pay one. He let my characters on my side pay one less for a turn. So once he hit the board, all my whole factory of Ultrons could come out because one would pay a blue. That new one come out, then he could pay a blue, and they keep going on to all the whole factory is out. And then I could swap out my level 2s for zombie masters. It was just a whole bunch of things, but I need to get to 7 for the engine to get going. So played Dawson, he beat me. Yeah, he just got me good. Round 2, I played Ralph Cole. I forgot who he played. But I think, like I said, it's still like I said, he just got that Ultron too fast for me. Oh no, yeah, round 3, Mike Morehauser. I don't remember who none of these. I don't remember my losses too well, but I screened most of my games. So, but the last 2, Cal had new Thor. He had me dead to rights on turn 7. Then my mainframe came out and turned that around. And then the last game I played, Seth. He had Carnage, and he had me dead to right. But then I had enough greens with keys, where I was able to drop the Sokovia, wherever they were dropping. And yay, that's me. So you want to go next, Key, because we gotta say the high person for last. The
No,
champ.
that's cool. So I played Photo Mysterio. And I'm gonna tell you the truth, I don't remember anything about this match or this tournament.
So I do have the rounds up on the screen as well.
Yeah, I see it.
Okay.
But this was so I can't tell you what PJ played. Like that's how bad it was. My refillable water bottle was very refilled, if you know what I'm talking about. I bring stuff to refill it with water. It looks like I came in 5th. That's what I'm gonna say. I went 3-2. That's what I remember.
For those of you that can't see Keebler because you're just hearing his voice, he's making finger quotes when he says water.
No, I don't want to. It's just water.
It's like that Bible water, right?
Yeah.
Where your friend will, take some of that water and make it into another substance for you to enjoy the water better.
There we go. So yeah, unfortunately, I don't remember what anyone played. I don't know. I'm sorry. I didn't take brain space to keep this tournament.
You are the champ. You do not apologize.
Oh, okay.
All right, Kevin. I think this is your time to shine. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I came in 2nd. I used Molecule Man and really tried to abuse his power that lets the supporting characters use the blues for free. So the goal of the deck is to get a Heimdall out. And I actually got this from Keebs, and Keebs only showed me this for like 5 seconds before we didn't play a match because I didn't have a deck built. I was like, oh, that's really smart. Where you play Heimdall, pay 0, and then play Ardina, and you don't have to pay a cost for it because you put her into play with the effect. So that means a turn 1 is possible to get a 6/6 flight range flyer out. But obviously the real star of the show was, since we can mix cards, I had the 2-drop Photo Rescue. And it seems like it's pretty good to put a flyer in front that can't be struck for this turn. And the only way to get better on that is to play 2 of them. So it was, using like Heimdall, using Pixie to get cards out, and then flashing them out with either Singularity or Doorman, then playing Havoc. So my people are growing every time we use the superpowers, and then having the zombie masters so that we can get them out with Heimdall. So it's just really broken in terms of the interactions. I will say the first round I did win, but Cell had me dead to rights. He had me dead to rights. I think I was on my last wound, and I was able to get 2 Havocs out. The 4/5 flyer, whenever you use it, you get a plus, and whenever they use it, they get a minus. And then I had 2 Carlys out. So they were both 10/11s with flight in the front. And we were basically able to just start off. He was playing the deep. But after that, I played Scott Watson. I think he had Miles Morales, and we were able to fend him off and beat him. Get some of the interactions going. Play Vern. He was on Sin 6, I believe, and we were able to beat him pretty good because we kept the wall up and was able to get the rescues in front, and there's really not a lot you could do. And then I played Ralph, where I made my fatal mistake. I went first. He had MCU Valkyrie. I played a resource. I had no supporting character, and I just passed turn instead of suiciding into her. And he was able to play Cypher, discard a Beyonder, level up, and then he found the red and went into me for 8, and we lost on turn 1. And then after that, I was able to play Jason. I believe he was playing Sheathing, the Jessica Walters deck, and we were able to beat him too with some of the shenanigans. But that was a really, really close match as well. So we came up short because I need to learn how to play versus better, and took second.
Hey, second place. Hey, that got you a big card, right?
That sure did. I think we got the Wall of Force big card.
Good job, man.
Sweet. That's a good one.
Funny tidbit is I put the hood in the deck, but I couldn't remember if the combat spells were main or combat ones, so I never played them because I wouldn't even know what to go grab. So that's terrible. But
in between games you could look through your own deck, right?
I know, but I was like, I should have done that, but I was like, I'm never playing the hood because I don't know what to go get or when to go get it. But I'll do better next time.
All right, any questions, Earl or Kevin? We got Kevin Butcher in the room hanging out. Y'all got any questions since y'all wasn't there?
I don't have any questions, but I would have also played Molecule Man in this event.
Oh yeah, that's right. You were prepared to come, but yeah. All right. So we're gonna go ahead and skip to the Sunday event. That way we come to the main event last. So Sunday event was everything legal but Outrider. Even the ban and replace cards were legal in this. So I guess we'll start with Scott and Key for this because they just were there for a couple seconds.
Yeah, that's true. You want to go, Keep?
Yeah, so I thought I was going to have time Saturday night to put a deck together for this because I was just going to throw something together, and it turns out that I didn't have time to do that because some stuff got in the way. So I just played the deck I played the day before, and I did real bad. Turns out that deck is good with Incursion, but not good with Everything is Legal. So the only game I won was because Ralph Edwards did not draw a card he needed or any cards he needed. And then I just got dog stomped. And then I went and looked at the vendor hall.
Scott?
I went 0-2. I was playing Cape Pride, ramping to Dark Phoenix, and then and then was going to call levels, and then just like stomp people down. But I went 0-2 because I never saw Dark Phoenix. And and then Keith was like, "Hey Scott, you want to just go drop and go to the vendor hall and look at cool stuff?" And I was like, "Yeah, okay." I mean, I was tired. It was the last day. I was like, I didn't really care that much about the event at that point. And I was like, "Yeah, let's do that. We'll go have fun."
And then we'll go ahead and come to you, Tevin. Oh, he must have stepped away.
Oh no, I'm sorry, I was muted. I did terrible at this event. I think I only won 2 games, but I played Britt Baker, and it's like Dave was telling me, well, you're the one who brought a fair deck to an unfair fight. So I didn't do anything crazy just because my brain power was on E when I was building the decks and brought them out. It was a lot of fun. I saw some like really broken stuff. Somebody who was a cell was playing Invisible Woman with all the agents, and then until he can bring hiding everybody with Singularity, and then turning them face down, and he was basically playing solitaire until he got Thor. And, cool interactions, but I definitely got my tail whooped.
All right, so finally.
I was.
Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead, Earl. What were you?
I was going to bring a Cape Pride hand discard deck. That was pretty fun, but again, weather.
And finally, like I said, for this one, I have Massimo, so I didn't know what I wanted to play. So I like, or what do I play? He like, man, you should play Massimo. I put a deck together. He looked over. He like, I like this deck. So because with this deck, you can play the old Singularity that don't cost nothing to remove the people from play, and Cosmo that could lock anybody down. So most of my games, like I said, the first game against Tevin, like I said, that was a I mean, actually, it went back and forth. I mean, we're pretty balanced, but in the end, I have 6 health, he had 5. And I would hit him every turn, and eventually I got the loop going there. He would probably go in a bad way anyway. Round 2, I played Vern. Vern played. I streamed all of these games too, so if you want to, fact check me, the video proof is out there. In the universe, Vern played. He played Mesmo, and I looked at Dick like I don't know what his game plan is. I'm just gonna put Cosmo on him. Then I follow up with Jessica Jones. And yeah, he was trying to get to send to Kelly what he told me later, but yes, I was able to control that one. My third game was against Mix with Dark Phoenix. He just didn't see any of his yellows. He did no. So the turn 1 and 2, he played face down cars, and by the time he got to turn 3, I played Jessica Jones out there. And with the Sentinels, because we have all the Sentinels and the Singularity and bring them back, we're all trying to draw cars. Yeah, and then I played Dawson. I mean, I apologize, Dawson, for that game. So he played Loki. I think we went to turn 9 before he scooped, and him Loki did not get off level 1. So the
Wow.
so basically so like I said, he went first, and like I said, he didn't draw the equipment, so cool. On my play 1, I played Cosmos so Loki don't have access to any of his powers, and we can shoot him. He can't shoot back. It was a lot of fun. And then by turn 3, I got Jessica Jones, so he can't play. So eventually, when he did get the equipment in hand, like turn 5, the turn before, I just dropped Kobik. So Kobik prevented him from playing any of his equipment since he didn't have no team affiliations. And so I mean,
That's not right.
and by that point, like I said, by the time he could bring anybody out, I had the lethal sitting on my KO Powell. So I have enough team attacker, and with Singularity just bouncing my Sentinels out and coming back in, and then one from top of my deck. It got out of control. And finally, so I was 4-0. I was only 4-0, but then I played Ralph. I mean, I may could have won the game, but I made a terrible play mistake. So he played K-Pie. So I drew my hand. I had MC8 in there, but I was worried about, okay, I know he got 10 blue, but I got worried about that, blah, blah, blah. So first turn, he played Frank Drake. I was like, do, just, twiddling my fingers. And they like, I'm going to pay the yellow. And then in my mind just clicked like, man, you should have played that MCA. Because he going to get the old machine. Everything costs 1 less and he's going to flood the board. To Cinder Kelly. If you don't notice, Ralph plays Cinder Kelly in his deck. But the best part about the game, if I did get a small victory from that game, so when Ralph presented his deck to me, I'm like, let me roll a pair of dice to see how many cards I'm going to take off the top of the deck and put on the bottom of it. So we took his special rule cut to the theory, but in the end he ended up winning. But overall, I still came in first place. So Peter wasn't giving out double cards for this event, so I did not get a card for this event because I got a card from Judge and I got the I Am Inevitable MCU card. So yeah. Any questions from the non-participants of MidWinter?
Did you use your promo Sentinels? Because
Absolutely,
man,
1000%. So I did stream all my games. Yes, I had the old promos. I had the old did I have any other promos? I had MCA promos. I had a few promos in that deck.
oh man, using those Sentinel promos. Someday there's going to be an event where I can play my Sentinel promos.
So before we get to the main event, I think we should recap Friday night to Saturday morning.
Man.
So I guess we'll break down. So it's like we finished the day. We were deciding where we were going to eat food. So I don't want to talk bad about the hotel or the food, but I didn't eat none of it, so I guess I can't talk bad about it because but what I heard from people wasn't it.
That's about right. Yeah, I guess the food was okay, but they were not prepared for the crowd that came.
Okay.
Like when you went, you're looking at an hour to eat at least. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
unless
they
it
had
was like
one
the buffet.
they had one waiter working the bar / restaurant, and a convention full of people. So like it filled up fast, and it took forever even to put your order in, much less get it.
And they were selling food buffets, but you could only make one pass.
Yeah.
So it was a one-way food buffet. You pass that plate, it's not going on yours.
So and so yeah, so after the second event, it was about 6 inches at least of snow on the ground by this point.
Yeah,
And so I'm there with my wife, and I'm like, I was like, I don't think we're gonna get out, but and Scott were like, oh, we gonna find some food. We're not eating here. I'm like,
yeah.
so the other three of me, my wife, and Tara, were like, cool. If y'all get something, could y'all bring it back? Cool. So they drive. Right, y'all made it to Denny's, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, it was fun. We
So-
we like unburied Keeb's car from the snow. That took a few minutes. We managed to get over the mound. You know how when the snow plows go in a parking lot, they leave like a mountain of snow like right in front of your car. So we had to like go. It took a little while to get the truck out of the parking space, but we managed to
Had I
do
not
that.
had 4-wheel drive, we'd still be sitting there.
Yeah. But we managed to get out of there, and then we just drove down the street and looked around, and then we found a Denny's, and we were like, "Oh, cool!"
So
Brought back a lot of memories because in the old Versus days, we used to go to Denny's every time we road tripped.
Yep.
So since they were out there, like they reached out to like, yeah, just give us our order, we'll get the food for y'all, we bring it back. Like, cool, what's up? And so while we were waiting, me and my wife and Tara were like, we could play the board game. We bought Clink. We were like, cool. And as soon as I like, and all of a sudden, some of the lights went off in the room. Not all of them, just some of them. Like, oh, the power must be going out. We must be on a backup generator. I'm like, well, we could go to another room, play a game. And as soon as I said that, the rest of the lights went out. Fire alarms start going off.
Yeah, the alarm went off. We didn't know what was going on, so I went to the hallway to check it, and it sounded like the alarm was coming from the hotel room right next door to yours, Dave. So
Yeah.
that guy opens the door. This old timer comes out with no shirt on, bewildered as hell. Like, what's going on? He's like coming into your room, flicking the light switch on, all this craziness. But they never said whether we should like be evacuating or if everything was cool. So like, I was like, I guess I'll go find and ask someone. So I walked around and there was the two cop guys that just were wearing badges. And I'm like, should we be evacuating? And he goes, no, everything's fine. I go, well, obviously everything's not fine. All the lights are off and the fire alarm's going off. And then when I walked around the corner to where the main lobby was, it was just flooded with people. So I was like, yeah, I'm just going to go wait this out in the room.
So just to sum it up, we end up eating the food at night, sleeping without no heat, and Keith used a sleeping device, so he had an extra fun experience.
Yeah, it was really cool. My friend Dave, that's you, Dave,
Yeah.
had a generator, and you were nice enough to trek out to your car to let me borrow this generator that I thought would maybe get me through the night, which meant that I would be able to sleep. Well, it turns out that thing only lasted for about 2 hours, and so about 2:30 in the morning, I am going to the front desk to see if they can let me unplug a light bulb from the ceiling so I can hook a cord up to it so that I could get my sleeping machine to work. And they said they couldn't do that for me. But then one of the engineers, the building engineers, he was a super nice guy. He's like, if you give me a minute, I might be able to run you a line and we'll get you a spot to sleep over here in the snack store. I was like, okay. So that took about 25 minutes and he was able to get it hooked up. I went back to the room, got my machine, got a blanket, or they gave me a blanket, and I slept on the little couch there in the store. About an hour and a half into that, there was a baby that was not having a good time in the hotel. So the parents were taking turns out there with the screaming baby. While I was trying to sleep like 5 feet away. So I got maybe at the most 3 hours of sleep that night.
And you were playing in
Yeah,
the
it was
big,
really nice.
and you were playing in the big event the next day, right? If I recall, like
Yeah, yeah,
you had something to do the next day.
yeah. I was just trying to, get sleep for the biggest tournament of the year for me. So, yeah, that's all that was going on.
So just an off-topic question. What were your expected time to leave, Earl? Like, what time at least so we could laugh about what chance you had of making it to us?
I was going to leave at 3 o'clock in the morning. It's a little bit over a 5 hour, or it's less than a 5 hour trip, right? So if I left at 3, I could be there at 8. But that's actually 7 because there's a time change. I'm on Eastern time, and they're on Central time.
Right.
So that would have given me.
You lost an hour. So you would gain an hour in your favor.
Yeah.
But yeah, it would have been a lot of snow. A lot of snow.
Yeah. I'm sad you didn't make it, Earl, but I'm happy that you didn't try to make it in that situation because it wouldn't have been safe.
So
yeah, that's ultimately why I stayed home.
So going into Saturday morning, they move us to a different room because there's still no lecture in the building. We don't know when the electricity coming on. The only light we got coming in from a window. They had 2 big windows in the area we was in, so the sunlight was coming in. So like as the day went along, 1 o'clock, like man, that sun is getting real low right now. So a little worrisome, but I guess we'll go with all the rounds together. Let's talk about the decks that everybody played. I mean, that should be short since 2 of them is identical. So let's start with Tevin
Close
first.
to identical.
Yeah, close
identical.
to identical. Yeah, I forgot the change, but y'all discuss that when you get there. So, Tevin, quick rundown who you played, any the strategy or anything else you want to talk about with your deck.
Yeah, so I played Big Daddy G, the level 3 Galactus that was in the newest one that was out. It was a loyalty deck, so it gave me access to Unwavering and it gave me access to Stand Together, which really, really helped out during the game. Essentially needed to get to Destroyers quick to turn Galactus on and then, just continuously bring the beat down until we win the game. I do think that the fatal flaw was I needed to go lower. I needed some more lower drop protections, but it performed pretty well. I was happy with the build. Basically, just straight up beat down.
All right, Scott, you want to talk about the deck, or you want Keith to talk about it and you follow up afterwards?
Well, I figure I'll just say a brief thing, and then Keith could talk about the deck in more detail because he did win with it after all.
Okay.
But I just want to point out that it's a great deck, right? And we both basically ran the same deck. But I'm an old punk, so I got to be an iconoclast and do my own thing and put my own little spin on it. So I made one change, which I still think is the superior change, but in hindsight maybe it wasn't because I didn't do as well. I traded out the Game Preserve for Training Grounds. Now I think the Training Grounds are the superior card. I don't know how you win with Game Preserve in there. I'm just saying. But Keith ran it with the Game Preserves like Earl said to do, and he did better. So I'll let him talk about the deck.
So I will say that we tested Game Preserve over Training Ground. We found Game Preserve to be far superior because it makes you win games. It makes you win better. It likes to be drawn, where Training Ground doesn't like to be drawn.
Training Ground clearly doesn't like to be drawn.
Yeah, no one likes to draw that card. The Game Preserve is like the One Ring; it wants to be found. So yeah, that was the difference in our deck.
All right, go ahead and speak shortly on the deck. Or do you want to talk about the deck, or you want them to talk about it, give you a piece, Earl?
I don't know. I guess what I want to say is we tested this like 12 cards. Maybe not 12, minus the zombie stuff. I almost played this deck at the Ohio Regional, right? So take out the zombies, put in like Devil Slayer and some other cards, and I almost played that at the Ohio Regional. So it had, we had been working on this for a while. So it just all came together. And then like zombies came out and it's like, hey, there's 6 extra letters on every name here. So it seemed like a good fit.
All right, Keith, you want to make any other point before you start going by the rounds?
So the point that I want to make with this deck is there were, when you look at the deck, what you have to think about is all of the locations are not actually locations. Every location in this deck is one of 15 different cards, and you get to pick what card it is whenever you want. It's the most versatile deck. It'll let you tailor your game plan to whatever you're dealing with. It's dumb. It's just a really strong, aggressive deck. Yeah.
Okay, so real quick, we'll go each round. We'll give you 30 seconds to a minute. Don't take too long talking about the game. Then we'll move along in the top 8. We'll spend a little more time. So round 1. Let me go first. Scott, you have Marcellus. Quick recap of that game.
He beat me.
Okay.
He was playing Galactus, and he beat me.
Tevin, you had Osh. Go.
The only thing I will ever say about that game is that Josh did not win and I did not lose.
Fair enough. Sean, you got fellow Buckeye PJ. Quick recap. Go.
In that game, it was kind of a matchup that we were worried about. I did do a complete bonehead play on like turn 4. Turn 4. He had already leveled up into level 3, and I thought that the -2 applied to a character, the -2 applied to a character that attacked in, and I team attacked him in melee with all 3 zombies, and he brickwalled it and laughed, and then it took me another 3 turns to get him out, but it came down to me being able to invent a negative zone and get him.
Okay, so round 1. So what's the 2-1-0, 1-0-1 going to round 2. So we'll keep the same order. So Scott, you got Jeremy. Go.
Yeah, and Jeremy was on Kang, which is one of my favorite MCs of all time in this game. So it was kind of amusing. I knew basically, exactly what his game plan was the whole game. I won that one on. I think that one went to turn 4, maybe. He did manage to get up to 6 or 7 resources, maybe even 8. I forget for sure, but he got the 3 Kangs out, so he was at least 6 resources. And what happened was on turn 4 or 5, whatever it was, I got the virus on the first 2 Kangs that he had, and got them both on 2 wounds, so they were going to die at the end of his next turn anyway. And then I got 1 wound on the last Kang, and then I had 2 negative zones and went bam bam, and that was the end of that.
All right, Tevin, you was at Kendall's place. Go.
Yeah, so Kendall played Buffy, and I did not know how I was going to try and handle that matchup at first. So I thought the best thing to do was not let him level until I had a stand together in hand. So I think I went until turn 6 before I even started playing supporting characters. Eventually, I did draw into a stand together, and I wait. The fatal mistake he made was he activated Buffy's Slayer power when he had a Whiplash out. He activated her power first to try and Slayer me, and then he tried to pull me with Whiplash, and I played stand together on the Whiplash pull, and he didn't have anybody in the front that was going to be able to knock down the cards that I had, because I had Dr. Doom up there, and I was holding the power Cosmic. So once he did that, I knew I was going to win the game.
Okay, and finally, Keith, you had Jose.
So I had Jose. I sat down in front of him. I put out my cards and to show him what MC I was playing, and he's like, "I can't believe that you guys are playing that garbage." And then he pulled out the same one. And I was like, "Okay, we did something right. If we're playing what Jose's playing, we're playing the right deck." And he beat me, like real bad beat me. He got the initiative, and I thought that I would not have a chance to even touch their build. That's how bad he beat me.
Okay, what round did the lights come back on? Do we remember that? I know
Round 4.
Okay.
Yeah, it was 4. I think it was around 4 o'clock. I was playing Scott Watson when they came back on.
Okay. All right, so round 3.
Wait, hold on. Kevin had a question. What's up, Kev?
Buddy, I'm just wondering, after watching your finals, the way you handled him, how did he handle you so well in round 2?
He got like a really bursty start. Like I think that he had Alicia Masters. He had the the machine. He had all the twists that he needed. I mean, he just was super aggro. I didn't even have a chance to like do any inventing that I needed to do. It was a raffle stop. Like I just got annihilated. It was so bad. I went up to Scott and I was like, I just got it handed to me. That's going to be a really, really tough matchup.
Well, actually, I'll save my comments about that because I played him in round 5, so I'll talk about that matchup as well when we get to that round.
Yeah. Yep.
All right, so moving along, round 3. So Scott, you was with PJ, Nub, Buckeye on Buckeye. We hate to see that, but it have to happen.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I love all my fellow Buckeyes, so I always have fun when we play each other. Even if it's at a tournament, like we sit down across from each other, and it's always like, oh, well, it's a bummer because one of us is going to have to get the L. But it's still a good time because there's a lot of love in the group. So I got paired up with PJ, and I think that was actually the one deck I was scared of. He was on Rogue. I was pretty scared of that matchup because I didn't play test it a lot, and I know how dangerous she is if she gets to level 3. But that game ended on turn 3 with him at level 2. I got the initiative. I got the zombie virus on him on turn 1, and then so he was taking an extra wound every round. And then on turn 3, I had a negative zone and put the last wound on him. So he didn't even get to turn 3. It was kind of a blowout.
Okay, Tevin, you was playing Mitch.
Yes. So Mitch, I ended up losing that game. Mitch was on Sinister 6, if I'm not mistaken. He
Correct.
killed me with zombie virus, and he had a dirty play where he brought Sandman out and then played Ash, stunned Sandman because he has durability, he doesn't take the wound, and then suicided Ash. So I took like the Ash out with one of my destroyers, took the wound from the zombie virus, and then next turn he did it again to give me the last 2 wounds.
Okay, and then Sean, you got Seth. Did I lose him?
Mike,
Muted.
So Seth was on Carnage, and so that means that I mulligan for Stiltman, and then I win.
Yeah, that sums it
Yeah,
up.
it was just a bad matchup for him.
So at this point, this is when the light kick back on. Heat start coming back into the facility, and we go on to round 4. So Scott, you had Bert.
Yeah, Bert was on the Molecule Man deck that him and John Phillips built, and so I believe it was the exact same deck they were
Yes.
both running. And that was a challenging match. I mean, that was the toughest match that I ended up winning. Obviously, the ones I lost were tougher, but that one was kind of a nail biter. And that deck, for anybody that didn't see it, is pretty amazing concept. So they're not even really planning to animate it. Use Molecule Man's level 2 animated building power that much. I mean, they'll do it when they need to, but mostly what they're planning on doing is recycling the deck over and over again. So they're just drawing buttloads of cards with the Ultrons, and the Molecule Mans, because when they use them all and they go to the KO pile, they just pay a blue, shuffle them all back into their deck. And the spells, they're reusing the spells with the Hood, because he can go search them out when he casts a spell. I mean, it's a brilliant deck concept, and it was tough. I got the weapon on Mr. Fantastic and got him leveled fast. I think I leveled him on turn. Maybe is it possible I got? No, he leveled on turn 3. I don't think it's possible to level him on turn 2. Anyway, so I got him
you can
leveled on
level
3.
turn 2.
Maybe I leveled him on turn 2. I don't remember. But the point is, I got the weapon defensive on him, so he's now at 12 butt. Before Bert could do much damage to him. And then there were a few turns where Bert just couldn't, he's doing all this stuff. He's got a giant board. He's got like 12 characters on the board, but he just can't hit me because none of them are on the same team, and he doesn't have an attack big enough to get to a 12 bottom. Plus, he knows I'm probably holding some Fantastic Four plot twists or, a combat cancel or something. So the game went on for a while. I don't remember what turn it went to. The end, was we went into the last turn. We went to time. We get to his turn when time is called. I think I'm at 2 wounds and he's at 4. I have the zombie virus on him, so I know he's going to take a wound at the end of his turn. Well, he's going to take a wound at the end of his turn because I've got an unstable molecules in my hand, right? So he's swinging into Mr. Fantastic, and I believe he's trying to bait me into playing the unstable molecules. So he's swinging in with other things to get more wounds on me. So he swings in, and I go, I'll just take it. So I go to 3 wounds. And then he flips me back up. He's using negative zone and greens. I guess that's how he flipped me, but there's no other way to do it, is there? Well, anyway, I don't remember if he had negative zone in his deck. Well, anyway, somehow he flipped me back face up and got another wound on me. And again, he attacks in, and I go, yeah, I'll just take it again. So now I'm at 4. He's at 4. But then we get to the end of his turn, because I'm still holding the unstable molecules for when he tries to swing with his main. That was the only attack I cared about, right? I just wanted him to take the wound from the zombie virus. So he ends his turn, he takes a 5th wound, and I'm sitting on a negative zone and an earth, so I could have killed him, but I just went, so this is the last turn, right? Because it's my turn. And I had the win on the health, so that was the end of the game there. But that's how that one went.
Okay, and then Tevin with Scott Watson.
Yeah, so I played Scott Watson. I believe he was playing Franklin Richards,
Yes.
so he had the 3 decks. I didn't know what shenanigans he was up to, but he always plays really awesome decks. We ended up going to time. In the Galactus deck, there's the Maker, and then I'm playing the 7-drop Doctor Doom. And then basically you try to get into situations where you can keep playing plot twists and then equipment to pump them up. You got your big bang cannons, you got the power siphon and stuff like that. We were able to keep his board pretty clear. He played a Dragon Man, and I power siphoned his draw a card ability onto my Thundara. But I ended up, all of our games always go to time as well, and I ended up just being able to beat him on wound count. But it was a really close game. My Dr. Doom had like 19 counters on him by the end of the game because I was able to invent so much because the Maker was protected so well. But what I didn't realize what he was trying to do was he had the new Doctor Doom that has the Guardians of the Galaxy, and he was going to do play Doctor Doom with an ability that returns him back to his hand at the end of his turn, and then do a mind transfer to take all of my cards. He just didn't get to it in time.
Okay, and then Sean, you play Kayla.
I played Kayla. Kayla was on Thor, original Thor. She didn't make any mistakes. Her deck just didn't give her what she needed. And I just ended up taking that game. But she did everything she could. It was just a deck issue.
All right, going to round 5. So well, everybody got 1 loss at this point. Is anybody undefeated in the group at this point? It doesn't matter. Let's go to round 5.
Yeah.
Let's go to round 5. So Scott, you got Jose.
Yeah, so this is where I think it gets interesting. So obviously we're on almost the same deck, right? He's not running the zombie package. But to answer Kevin's question, so I beat Jose first of all. But to answer Butcher's question, I think the way that Jose wins when he does is basically, I think this matchup just comes down to who gets to invent the most. Honestly, that's every game that I saw or participated in with him, and I played him 3 times, and Keith played him 3 times. And I think it came down to who got to invent the most. If you drew more of your reds, and you got more of your combat cancels, and you got more of your tricks, and you got gadget, and you got weapon, and and you got your machine out with the +2/+2, like you just have such a giant advantage that's what made the difference, I think, in every match. So in the match in the Swiss rounds when I played him, I just got to invent every turn. I drew the locations to invent with, and he didn't. I got more of them. I canceled more of his combats. I got the zombie virus on him, and the deck worked how it should. I think in the times when you lose, which we'll get to when we talk about in the top 8, it's because you didn't invent as much.
All right, Tevin, Mr. Ben, go.
So Mr. Ben was playing Ralph Edwards' deck that he would have played. It was old school Deadpool. I didn't know what was going on, but he was playing those alien eggs. I don't know what they're called, and I was like, oh, I'm not really scared of him. There's not a lot he could do, and he swung in with Deadpool and then played Spook and gained an XP, and then I was like, okay, I see what's going on here. So I just concentrated on taking all of the alien cards out so that he couldn't play those plot twists, and we won that game with the stand together as well. The two key plays were he played a this and that to try and kill one of my destroyers, and I played observe and adapt as a this and that to get the counter back on him so that he would survive. And then he tried to give his characters lethal, and I played stand together, and that pretty much sealed the deal for him. So.
And finally, Sean, you had John Phillips.
I had John Phillips. In this match, I knew he was playing Molecule Man, and I knew that my best friend in that matchup was going to be Psychohistory. So I invented Psychohistory, and I made Singularity what I was going to do. He kind of guessed that that's what I did and played around that as best as he could, but I was able to aggro it out, and I was able to just put more wounds on him than he could take. It was kind of I tried to beat him before he gets to the combo, and I was able to do that.
And finally, Scott, the final round, you up against Mitch.
Yeah, I played Mitch. He was on Sinister Six, and he beat the crap out of me. That one was like, it was painful. The zombies obviously don't do anything against the Sinister Six. So part of what your deck is trying to do is just 100% nullified. And then, this is one of those matches where I didn't draw enough reds. I think I invented twice in that whole game, maybe 3 times. I can't remember for sure, but I know I was putting earths down in my row because I wasn't pulling reds. He got the upper hand. I don't know what else there is to say about it. I mean, he starts with Kraven. I think I put down Ant-Man on turn 1 because I didn't have a zombie Stiltman, and I got the initiative, so I'm thinking, I got to take the chance, and if he plays a red out of hand, at least he's going down a card. Sure enough, he plays a red out of hand, and Ant-Man dies, and it was just downhill from there.
Well, you probably should have went with Game Preserve.
Yeah. Oh, you're right. I was gonna say that when we get to my top 8 match. We'll get to that.
Okay. So finally, 2 more games. Tevin against Marcellus. The Mirror Max. Go.
Yeah, I did not draw a Herald until turn 5, and I lost that game. Our decks were similar, but not the same build, and he kicked my butt pretty thoroughly. I think he had me at 6 wounds on turn like 7, so I definitely lost that one.
And then Sean against Mr. Ben.
So, Mr. Ben, if he wins, he's top 8. If I win, then I get home field advantage in top 8, which was actually really imperative for me. So I played my heart out there. It was my turns 3 and 4 were real bad, but I was able to invent the gadget so that if he were able to, oh hi, I see you, and then to get the attack on, I could gadget him out and get another turn to get some more dudes out. I ended up not needing to do that, and I was able to just get two negative zones in play, and I got him to 4 wounds, and then I double negative zoned him with 2 earths, and that's what got me into the top 8.
All right, so
Curious, besides aliens, what else did he play in Deadpool?
So he's playing xenomorphs with ovomorphs to pull your guys off, with spook to daze your guys. He was running Night Watch, and
basically this and that were used to get the fatal blow with Deadpool. So Deadpool attack, play this or that. You don't even get a chance to respond.
Yeah, and he had chest burst in there too to weaken the MCs so that he could put him down.
Yeah. Yep.
All right, so this the final ranking. So 4 Buckeye play and 4 in the top 12, 3 in the top 8. So real quick,
Yep.
Before I continue, I do want to take this moment to go over the deck list. More so keys for a reason, but we'll see that once we get there. So we had PJ Rogue Bill. He didn't talk about, but I say like this or that. The only plot twist. The 8 normal locations. Book for sign, yeah, and then we'll go along. He'll talk about that if we ever catch up with him. Tevin Bill, nice handwriting.
Yeah, right. Very, very readable. Yeah. I mean, as you can see, like I said, it's mono. We're able to stay on team attacks. We're able to keep the pressure on, but and then being able to add in like the isosphere and things like that, so that I can keep activating the Doom support character with the counters, and then readying with any of the plot twists that we're going to play. The power cosmic obviously is 4 stuns if I can get them. If I was to change anything, it would be put She Thing in the deck, because her, like, even when she gets wounded, she can stop a zombie attack, and then she would have flipped right back up and been able to block another zombie attack. And that, I think, would have helped me win some more games, and then go back up to 4 on Observe and Adapt, because that card became so important as we moved on. So
All right, and then we're going to come that deck last, and then we have Scott's deck. So the training
Yeah,
ground.
probably the
Yeah.
inferior one because of the training grounds. Okay.
And
I think we should let Earl talk about this deck.
Well, fine.
I do too.
We'll do it once we get to Sean's deck. So once we get to Sean's deck, with pretty similar. But we're gonna zoom in kind of at he has some extra scribbles. So at the top of it, he put Team Let's Get Dangerous. I mean, I don't know if he didn't know he was on Team Buckeye, but he got a star next to it, so it must be more notes with it. And he actually put built by Roy T. So Roy is another one of our teammates. He didn't make it to MidWinter because Snow couldn't make the drive, but yeah. And then finally we go see what the star. So if you go to the bomb, he have a message. He said, "If you know how much they like to be on the top of the list." So there you go. There you go. Let's Get Dangerous. Got a shout out from the champ.
Hey, you got the number one list, and you're at the top of that. So that's the top. That's the top of the list of the number one list.
Boy, you can't get no higher than that.
That's right.
The best you can be, guys. You're welcome.
You can't even grow that and smoke it and get that high.
Completely in fun. I hope you guys found it funny. I giggled, and I made sure that the guys over there got to see it.
So I guess since you haven't said much, we'll go to Roy T.
Mad genius.
I don't know what you guys want me to say about this. I feel like you guys say that I built it. I mean, I started it, but everybody else, you guys all had input on it. So I don't want, like, it's not the list that I first built. So it's not just me. You guys are there, and you guys piloted it. So all the props to you guys. But I don't know. I just felt like this was super consistent. It matched up. It had a game against everything we tested, and I felt like, I know you and I tested a lot. I mean, we tested a lot, and more than I think we've ever tested before. And I feel like we were we had a pretty good read on the meta, because we tested all similar decks to everything in the top 8, and so we were prepared for all those decks. So I think that's what helped out the most. And this deck's just super consistent, and that's really what I like about it.
No, yeah, definitely, because I think the Cosmo was like Scott and Key think, right? The Cosmo.
Yeah, well, Scott came in as like, what are you guys running San Francisco for? That should probably be a Cosmo.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that the big part of my contribution to this deck was I came up with a bunch of stuff that we shouldn't play. I came up I was like, guys, this is something we shouldn't play, but we figured out what was not going to be in it.
Yeah, I think I think the Kobik and the book was the two things I think I brought up. Of course, I'm.
By the way, the Kobik,
the
Kobik and the book were both amazing tech cards in there, I think.
Very.
I thought this was Kobik format. I mean, I don't think there were many negatives being slung around, and then the fact that there's so many generic plot twists. She stopped a lot of plot twists, and then in characters using superpower can't use their wows. It just, she felt like she did a lot, and in the book almost the same concept for the plot twist side of things.
Yeah, every time either one of those cards came down, the opponents just deflated. Those cards were just nasty. And then
Yeah,
the fact
I
that
would-
you've got shrinkers in the deck, you can put the book on a shrinker, like Ant-Man. You can either use that to bait somebody to attack him so you can invent, or you just put him in the back row and it makes it really hard to get rid of the book. I mean, yeah, just everything in there just worked well.
Those cards are really good. I mean, they don't see a lot of play, but when you're playing against them, it's just like a whole new level of racking your brain to get past them. When you're trying to get out your plot twist, you're like, okay, well, I got to have a dummy plot twist so I can play this plot twist on the book. And then you're like, oh, well, Kobik's out, so I can't team attack and I can't play any plot twists. It's both those cards are real good.
Yeah.
Keith,
And they
you
make it a
didn't
lot
play
easier to get the zombie virus on people because they don't have a lot of responses when one of those is out.
You didn't play Mitch, did you, Keith?
I didn't get to play Mitch.
Is that a bad matchup?
We have access to the negative zone, so his end of game trick doesn't really work that well with the Sandman. We have zombie plot twists as well, so if we turn it into a zombie, we're also going to be smashing. I really can't say 100%. In that matchup, you might have one of your, because you're never going to go and use your negative zone to wound theirs, to wound their main characters.
Until Sandman.
Until Sandman. So you might actually use one of yours to heal. I'd actually have to test it to know. I never want to say that I have an advantage over a Mitch deck because Mitch builds it and Mitch plays it, and I have a whole lot of respect for that. But
Right.
I think that it would be a fun thing to do at best 2 out of 3 to see how we could do it.
So I guess let's go ahead and finish up this top 8 and bring this to the end. So we had, so just to recap the whole top 8. So we had Miss Synthesis versus Jamal Cole's Dumamu. And they were gonna play the winner of Scott, Mr. Fantastic, against Jose, Mr. Fantastic. And then we had Sale on Galactus against John Phillips, Molecule Man. And then of course we had the Buckeye on Buckeye, Galactus, Mr. Fantastic. So let's go ahead and start with your top 8 game first, Scott.
I was already not muted. Okay, so so this is where the theory that the game preserve wants to be drawn and the training ground does not want to be drawn gets proven. As first round, so I have the initiative, right? Because I'm higher in the seed. I was 4th and Jose was 5th. So I go first. The whole game, I drew 2 reds, and he clobbered me because I only got to invent twice. And the second game, I drew not a single location. My resource row was all characters for 5 turns in a row. And then I died on turn 6. So there you go. So I admit it, training ground was a bad call.
Sorry, Scotty.
And that's it. That's the summary of my match.
Top 8. I mean, when the last time you was in the top 8, Scott, if you recall, for the new versus?
The last time I was in top 8 had to be, and by the way, I never top 8'd in a money event.
Okay.
But I top 8'd in a side event like 6 years ago. It was way before COVID days. 6 years ago, I top 8'd in a side event somewhere. But it's not something I usually do, so that was pretty cool. That felt good.
And to finish 4th, I mean, it's not only top 8, but to finish high in a switch.
Yeah.
So
and this is why I keep giving, grats to you guys, to Earl and Dave both, and also Keeb. I mean, you guys did the majority of the testing on this deck. I kind of came in, near the end, but yeah, I mean, the deck rocked. So I can't really, I don't take credit for the wins. I think it was the deck.
All right, and then Keeb and Tevin, however y'all want to double team on this top 8 game, y'all could go ahead and take it away.
I'll let Keith talk because he took around the first game. We did go to 3 games, which was cool. I did tell him before we started this will be my most my saddest win or my happiest loss, because either way, one of us was going on. You know what I mean? But I'll let you talk
I
about
felt
it,
the
Keith.
same way. So in our first match, this is a situation where Psycho History is just really good. I Psycho History Destroyer, and then I try to go aggro for the first 4 turns. And then when he gets out his big dudes, I try to handle them with my big dudes. That ended up working, and then I negative zoned him. That was it. The second game was weird. I'll let him talk about it.
Yeah. So the second game, I think you were able to. Did you put the virus on me?
Yep.
But then I got the virus back on Mr. Fantastic, and then it became weird game of like who can we wound while Galactus is still up there to make sure that you're not just taking wounds. You ended up getting to 5 wounds, and I remember the play was you had to swing or you would die, and you were saying like you either got it or you don't. And he swung in, and I had a power cosmic to give him the fatal wound. The big play on that helped me though was he played an unstable molecules, and I had 2 observant adapts, and he swung in with the zombies. I played observant adapt. He saved some back. Then he swung in with the main to try and get us again, and I played observant adapt as unstable molecules twice. So that's what made him take the wounds to go up.
Yeah, well played.
Yeah, thank you, sir. But now in hindsight, I was thinking I should have played Psycho History and called Kobik, because that's what screwed me in the last game. But you know.
Yeah. So in the third and final game, I Psycho History for Destroyer. He played around that. He got out Stardust. I got Kobik, so that turned off his ability to be able to use Observe and Adapt. And the big weird play that I had to make in that game, and I think I had to do it twice. The character that I cannot deal with in that deck is Stardust. So I had to use negative zones to wound Stardust so he couldn't get her back into play. That put my clock longer. So it took me longer to actually get in on him, but eventually I was able to get in on him. I infected him. I was able to keep from getting infected, and it went that way. And I think I had the second negative zone to get you at the end.
Yeah, and you know what? The bonehead play, it wasn't a bonehead play, but I needed to be more observant. When you did that, the next turn, I played Dr. Doom, and I think I equipped him to give him the counters, and I kept thinking Blastar was 10-10 still, but he was only a 5-5. So I put the weapon on his butt to make sure he would stay alive or something like that.
Yeah.
But you got him back up to 10-10, and then we swung in for 10, and you powered up. And that's when I knew. I was like, all right, yeah, we can't get to him. So
yeah, I had to get an 11-11 Blastar to be safe.
So yeah, and for the people who know, I mean, like I said, recently in Buckeye, we haven't had many people get to the top 4, correct? So
yeah, I'm pretty bad at the 4.
Yeah. So what?
No, we actually we didn't make top 4. I didn't make top 4 till the Black Knight came around.
That's why we had to solve that problem. We need somebody who could sling it up to the top 4. We need somebody like if you see Talladega Night, we need like our slingshot guy.
Slingshot.
That's me.
Engaged.
Bobby.
So Tevin had, like I said, Tevin lost to in Ohio to Earl and the top 8 to get him to 4, and then now Keys. So if you're a Buckeye and you try to get to the top 4, hit Tevin up and he'll see what he can do for you.
I got second place.
Huh?
Listen,
Yeah, that's right. Butcher got second place in Oklahoma.
Yeah, I would say more so from like the online, the team Buckeye. Yeah, I know that before that. Yeah, there was some stuff, but since I'm not the best historian before that, but no, I'm
just for me, I had never gotten the top 4.
Yeah, and then when Tevin don't play a Buckeye, he gets second place in Delaware. So
yeah, so I just need y'all to get different seeds so that I don't gotta play y'all.
Did I read that right? Was there somebody in the main event that had an illegal deck?
Yes, there was somebody who did had incur card in their deck, but they just ended up dropping shortly after instead of trying to fix up their deck. So so I guess keep it's just gonna be you talking the rest of the way. So so you move on to play John Phillips, who were able to take down Cell Galactus. So you're going against Molecule, man. So go.
Yeah, so I'm playing against Mr. Phillips, another guy I have a lot of respect for. We actually get to see what's in his deck list this time. Because in the Swish you don't get to see deck lists. I do get to see the deck list this time. And I look at it and I'm like, well, I have to make a decision. Is Psychohistory for Ultron or is Psychohistory for Singularity? So I decided that Psychohistory had to be for Singularity. And I saw now that we're looking at the Ultron recursion is what he needed. So I ended up pushing for what's it called? The prison. The portal to prison. And that got me in positions where I was able to remove Ultrons that he could recur, because what he was doing is he was using the Ultrons to get each other out, and then he would get to where he could get 12 attack from those, because he'd have, or I'm sorry, 4 times 4, 16. So you get up to 16 attack, take out anybody
12.
I have.
It's 12.
They're 3 attack each.
Oh, sorry, so 3-1. So still he can kill anybody that I have in the deck. So I have to figure out how to remove those. Portal to Prison does that. And then so all it was me trying to control the board enough so that I could get Portal to Prisons and the machine online to get big enough to where his attacks couldn't hurt me. I could infect him and then push through. That worked. I don't remember. So I think he won game 1.
Yeah.
And then I won game 2. And I won game 2 the way that I wanted to, in the lines that I wanted. Game 3 fell apart. And then I was able to get it back under control. And he did the thing I didn't want him to do. He animated his deck. And I don't have anybody in my deck that's big enough to do that. And then I top decked a good old Lady Deathstrike. And she won me that game because I was able to attack into the deck. The deck goes to 0 attack, goes to his discard pile. And then a couple attacks later, I was able to steal that third game. But that was not an easy match at all. Much respect to the big 3 and to their deck. It was really creative and extremely difficult to play against. You're never cool with your attack. Like, you never think you're going to be okay. Your formations are always weird, and you go from one turn where they have nothing on the board, and then the next turn you're outnumbered 12-1. So, again, big shout out to them. I really liked the deck, and it made me rethink every line that we had learned in testing, because we didn't really do testing on Ultron recursion, deck recycling molecule man.
I watched
Yeah,
that.
I think the Molecule Man we were playing was working off Pixie Singularity mostly, so it is a little different.
I watched that stream. Game 2, you took a more hard line. Game 2, you didn't go psycho first. You went and got automaton.
Yep.
You went more aggressive, and I can tell you where you broke his spirit when you had him down. He singularity. And you took a long turn. Then you said, "Who's under singularity?" And I'm like, "Dude, it's 2 people. It's his main and it's Night Watch." You looked, and then you invented and you psychotherapy or whatever his Night Watch as soon as it came back.
Right.
Watch the way he put that card in the discard pile. I'm like, oh, he just broke him.
Well, so during our deck review, I looked over his deck, and he couldn't see me was like a big card that I think was like that's kind of part of their combo. and the only card that they had to activate it in the deck was Night Watch. And I knew that if I let him get that Night Watch back, especially in that game, that I was not going to be able to stop his cycling. So I did that kind of on the fly, and it ended up working out for me there.
That was brilliant.
All right, so finally,
Thank you.
top two. So you going against Jose? You the upper seed, and well, all the games you were the top. So you were the upper seed in all your games. So you already had priority game one, correct?
Correct.
Okay,
So
going to the final. Like I said, I don't think there were even any talk of like possible splitting and just playing it out one game. It was like Jose won 3 games because he didn't want to be going the one game where he goes second. So he, side 3 games. And go ahead.
yeah. So and if I was him, I would have said the same thing. I don't think I would be confident in not having initiative in that matchup. So we sit down to play. And I've never beat Jose, and he had already beat that deck earlier the day. So I was kind of already really on tilt, and we started to played the first game, and something that I noticed, and I hope he hears this because this is something that I think he should know. I kind of kept my hand. I was like, yeah, I really like this. And he was like, oh man, you really like it that much? And I was like, yeah. And so he took a minute to decide whether or not to mulligan. And I don't remember whether or not he did. But that's going to come in key during the second game. So we played, we get to look at our lists. This is when I look at the list, and I realize he's not running zombies. And I was like, well, if he's not running zombies, I can be as completely aggressive as I need to be, because I'm okay with him making me a zombie in this matchup. Because him making me a zombie just gives me more plot twists that I can play on my main. It means that now I can play both of my zombie plot twists, and that makes my main real good. It makes Mr. Fantastic pretty hyper aggressive in that format, or in that matchup. There was a play in game, I don't know if it was game 1 or game 2. It might have been no, it was game 2. So I don't want to go to that yet. So we play the game 1. I do the things that our deck does when it goes first, and I get him. We go into shuffling in between rounds. And as I'm shuffling, I'm just trying to decide, what do I need to keep? And I was just like, you know what? If I get a location, 1 drop, I'm going to keep it, regardless of what else is in there. But I'm going to keep it fast. I'm going to say, I wasn't even going first in that game. And I decided that I wanted to say, I'm keeping fast. So we shuffle up. I get the cards. I look at my hand. I've got a location, I've got an Ant-Man, and I just say, I keep. And he was like, oh, really? I was like, yep. And that was kind of like me just saying, I'm super confident in this. And the reason for that is that I did not think that I stood a chance going second in that matchup. So the only thing that I could do was just try to use everything that I could, and me trying to just make him think that I had like the best hand I could possibly have was the only thing that I could do to really make a difference. So I kept it, and I just decided that in that game I was going to pretend that I had everything I needed, and I just didn't care what answers he would have for what I did. So there was a play where he attacked. He has Night Watch as a Fantastic Four guy. He has Alicia Masters in the back row. He attacks into my level 1 Mr. Fantastic, and I play Fantastic Four as a 2/2. And if he has anything else, I get blown out. I'm behind, and I'm gonna have a really rough time getting back. But if I get that to go off, and he doesn't have that flyer in the front, then I can push what I need to push, and it's almost like I didn't go second. So just did it. And that one play, I think, is what, and to me, turned the tide of the game for me. And I was able to push through. I didn't, until the end of that game, I did not think that I was going to be able to do it. But I did it, and much respect to Jose. I still like his version of the deck. I just really like zombies because they have a lot of names, or a lot of letters in their names. And it was really kind of a blur. I just tried to take every turn as I could, and try to make this team proud, and let the entire community know that the Buckeye we're a serious team, and we're here to say hello.
So I mean, first of all, congratulations. I mean, if you watching this, you should be standing up clapping right now. I am right now. That's probably a lie, but either way. But yeah, congratulations. I mean, and I like I say, this is by far your favorite event. I mean, I think we've been going to this since like 2018, maybe it was when me and you first went up here.
Yeah. MidWinter is by far it's my favorite event of anything. The sense of community that you get from there. There's people that I see every year there that I don't even play games with. That if I see them in the hallway, we'll stop, we'll chat, we'll say hey. I've just never been to something that's just that awesome. So yeah, it's definitely my favorite event. When I was in the top 4, because I have like a curse, I can't make it top 4. So once I got to that top 4, I was like, man, if I could win this, my favorite event, that would be something special. I'd really think that was pretty cool. And then it happened, and I just was really, it was really something special for me. I don't think that I've ever had a win of any kind of game that meant as much to me as getting to go to MidWinter and getting to claim that for the Buckeyes.
Yeah, I mean, watching you play, I mean, it was like you playing in a fifth dimension. I mean, you were so locked in. You were making moves like that, which is so on. It's like you made all the right move, all the right time. Like you almost able to see your opponent's hands. I mean, you were on top of your game, and then especially with the sleep you went through the night before and all the other things going on in your life. I mean, this is a huge win.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. I really appreciate it.
You ran a murderer's row too. You had the Black Knight. You had John Phillips. You had Jose. That's 3 straight killers.
3 of the best. Yeah, I don't think I had an easy match all day long. I think that with the exception of Kayla's deck crapping out on her, every game was tooth and nail. But I want to say that I really want to see Kayla stick with it. That wasn't a her issue. That was a randomization of decks issue. If you could play the game and not shuffle your deck, it'd be a lot easier to play. But we have to shuffle, and we have to leave it in the hands of randomization and the gods of odds, right?
Yeah. Is you gonna stream this?
It's streaming now.
It's streaming now. People was commenting on this while we talking.
Oh, well, I wanted Mr. Ben to hear this. Cause...
He listening. He said he talking about how he lost his mind. Talking about the game. Yeah, Mr. Ben been commenting since we've been here. Mix talking about if he thought his thoughts on the matchup with Sean, saying it mostly depend on how fast Mr. F get the virus since his 6 has 7 health, and then Vern been here. Yeah, no, this is streaming now.
I just thought it was just kind of funny because those of us that were watching the stream, Dave walked up to him and says, "Which game do you want to watch or stream?" He said, "I'll stream Jose and Mitch because we'll see John again in the finals." I was like, "Ooh."
You know what? I'll take that. Because here's the thing. We need that kind of challenge. I want to be made a better player. So yeah, let's. I'm here for that. Let's make people say, now we want to see Buckeyes in the top. I'm fine with that.
So
Yeah, Dave was right, man. You were on point. The way, just your mannerisms, you were like dead on focused.
yeah, I joke with him after the championship that normally whenever he on screen he do the little circle thing with his fingers. So I know they're the name to that game. I don't know what it is, but I know they're the
It's
name
called
to.
the circle game.
Okay, there it go. So yeah, he usually do that, but it was like none of that. It was all business. And his pajama pants, like I may have just got up, but I'm here for business.
I think you found your formula though. No sleep.
You know what? That might be it. No, I'll tell you. To be completely transparent, I had some personal stuff going on around that time, and I kind of used that tournament to get my head out of some bad spaces, and into some just embrace myself with the love of the people that are there and around me, and the people that I know that are there to support me. And I wanted to make people proud. I wanted to show that the time and the effort that we put into deck building and play testing was worth it. I wanted to do it for Earl. I wanted to do it for the team, and I was really proud to be able to do that.
All right, so I think we're getting ready to bring this to the end. So anybody got any outros? Kevin, we'll start with you, Kevin, since you were the last one here. Anything you want to shout out or anything?
Just congratulations, Keeb.
All right, let's go with you next, Scott. What you got anything you want to shout out or say?
I think it's all been said about about 100 times now. Congrats to Keeb. Well done on the deck building, all three of you. I mean, I think yeah, it was a good showing for Team Buckeyes. I don't know. I love being a part of this team, man. I love all you guys.
You got anything for us, Roy? Or Zombie Earl, wherever you are today?
I got to roll over my admission at MidWinter, so I will be there next year.
Tevin, the plot twist. Are we gonna hear from y'all about this, or anything coming down the pipeline from y'all end of things?
Yeah, we should have something put up by the end of the week. I would say, for this to be the first tournament of the year, I feel like everybody brought their super A game, so it's cool to see the community kind of show up and show out like that, even though we braved the frozen tundra to play. And I think my favorite play of the weekend was the Lady Deathstrike into an animated deck to kill it. So that was just awesome to see, Keys.
You got anything you want to say, Champ?
Just that I love this whole community. If I haven't got to play it before, I hope I do, and I hope that we have a great time. And thanks to MidWinter, thanks to Upper Deck for creating and supporting this game. And with the next regional, whenever it's announced, we're going to try to see if we can figure out a way to get out there, and maybe we could take another one.
All right. So I'm gonna wrap.
I got another thing.
Oh, go ahead.
I want to jump in here. I think I just lost my train of thought. Yeah, sorry, I interrupted and then I just forgot.
Okay, if you get just jump back in, but real quick on shout. We are getting ready to lead into season 11 of the Buckeye season. The league play. We got signed up all the way up to the 24th for next week. Tomorrow at 10 p.m. Eastern time. This time, we will be doing our pre-draft ranking. Me, Earl, and Rollin. Sign up. We have openings. We have our yearly event coming up shortly after that. But like I said, we'll talk more about that on the stream happening tomorrow. Let's go back over to Earl, see if he caught his train of thought.
I did catch my train of thought. I wanted to say that this community, we're pretty small as far as a tournament play community group of people. If you're thinking about coming to a tournament and you're worrying that you're not going to be as good, I feel like everybody is helpful and welcoming, and don't be afraid to come out and join us. We're a small community, but I think we're pretty friendly.
Oh, I agree with you completely there, Earl. I have a question to you, Dave. I had somebody ask me about their new player, and they asked me about joining the league, and they want to know if anyone would care if they were using proxies for the cards that they don't have yet because they're still building their collection.
Oh, no.
What do you think about that?
Proxy is perfectly legal for our event. It's
Yep.
it just gotta be a full picture. It can't be like no handwritten stuff like, 7-drop card. It gotta be the actual picture. It can be in black and white, color black and white, but it actually had to be a picture. If you take a screenshot of it, however you get the access to the picture of the card. Even if you need help getting it, I can help you get the pictures you need. But yeah, proxy are perfectly legal for this event. Ideally, we try to keep it, to the newer sets. But if it's a newer player, yeah, if you got stuff coming, just proxy what you need. But like Earl just mentioned, it's a friendly group of people. Nobody won't have a problem. So like I said, just make sure to give your opponent the head up. Like, hey, I got proxy. They probably be like, cool. Any issue, reach out to me or Earl. We'll take it from there. Or Rollin. But we'll talk.
Sounds good.
We'll talk a little more about that tomorrow. Like I said, with the pre-draft ranking, we didn't do all the MC. So anybody who do choose to listen, we only did 25 apiece. So we didn't do all 120. So yeah. But again, congratulations to the champ, Team Buckeye. I mean, I gotta say, I think we put a lot of work into this one. We might put more work in this than we did Gen Con. I mean.
I'll agree with that.
Yeah, I mean, I tested with the Buckeye pretty heavy. I even was testing with Jose for this event. So I tested with a couple other people. I tested, Tevin kind of was a little separate, but he was a little busy with life, but he jumped in. But I mean, in the end, we felt that was the best deck in. I mean, if you look at stats, it definitely was.
Yep, and even the players that there might be people listening that were old verses. Come just try and give new verses a try. It's not the same thing, but it's a good thing. Also, if you haven't been in it for a while, the game is still super fun. Come check it out. We'd love to have you back.
Yeah, and I think the other thing too is like diversity, right? So you look at there were 18, I think, different MCs in a restrictive format. So even in a restrictive incursion format, there were still 18 different MCs or unique MCs that came to the tournament to play. So that's awesome. So don't think your idea
26 players.
Yeah. So don't think your idea won't work, and bring it to the table and let the cards tell you.
Yeah, it's probably worth noting. I mean, that's a great point, and it's probably worth noting that it was that way at the last two regionals as well. Like in Delaware and in Ohio, it was also a really wide range of MCs played.
I mean,
I think it was. Was it exactly the same breakdown, Dave? In Ohio, we had 26 players and 18 different MCs.
I don't remember the exact number, but I know we never had more than 3 of an MC at the event. Like three have been the most of any one MC. Usually like 1 or 2 of them.
So I think the incursion format is in a really good place right now. I've said that before, but yeah, I completely believe that. I think that's a great thing.
When we get some zombies out of there, it's going to be in a great place.
Yeah.
So I think we're gonna wrap it up here. We held everybody hostage long enough who stayed. I mean, everybody, thanks for listening. A lot of MidWinter game was streamed here. Bill Faze, Mr. Ben did a lot of commentating. So if you go to his channel, you can see some of the stream game we're having commentating behind it. I streamed a lot of the weekend side events. You'll see me playing a lot. So if you enjoy my gameplay, that's there. If you don't enjoy it, you may fast forward. You may find something with me not playing in it. But either way, thanks for listening, and everybody have a good night.
Night, everybody.
Okay, and there goes.
Hey.
Bye.
Oh yeah. Welcome to Buckeyes and Friends. Shuffle up and stay a while. Here we go. Ooh. Oh yeah. Welcome to Buckeyes and Friends.